The expectations with this record was to finish the touring for the second record and get straight into the studio and just make a record and go back on the road.
You know, we're a kind of band that doesn't really like to sit still and not do anything. So for us, it was like, okay, let's just get in a room and write a bunch of songs and, you know, let's see what, and let's go, you know, let's keep going.
It didn't quite work out that way. We started writing. We took like about a month off, I think, to just do our thing, go back home and relax. And then we started writing about a month and a half later. And it was kind of a tough process. We hadn't written anything since the last record, which was like 2 years previous.
As we got into the writing process, we realized, you know, being our third record and everything, it was kind of time for us to do something a little bit different.
I think it was pretty, you know, an organic process because, well, you know, if you listen to the first record and then the second record, you know, there was an evolution there, and I think on this one we pushed it even further. And, you know, I think it's all about having a record that you find that sounds fresh, you know, for you.
There was a desire to evolve. We spoke a lot about like changing while maintaining what we had, and that took a lot more time than we thought. You know, it was a bit of a surprise to see that that evolution was not going to happen like in 2 or 3 months. It was something that needed time.
And at some point, we even thought about going in the studio, and maybe because while all this stuff was going on, we were getting a lot of pressure to, let's go in the studio, like let's put out this record this spring. Like, you guys have been away for a long time. The record was out in 2004. Like, you need to really come out. And it wasn't like pressure, like you have to do it, but it was kind of like we also felt it, like, you know, like we don't want to be away for too long, like, and we want to come out. We want to go tour again, and we're eager to come out again.
We were like, you know what, we can make a record. We have a bunch of songs. We're good. We should get ready to start going. So we started looking into it, and then once we started playing the songs around and playing the demos and talking amongst the band and seeing what we had, we were like, yeah, we got some good songs. We could probably write 2, 3 more and get ready for, you know, a February recording or something like that.
We played some demos to Bob Rock, who was lined up to be, you know, the producer of the album. And he said, you know what, I like what you guys have, but honestly, I think you should keep writing. We shouldn't go in the studio yet. I think that you need to spend more time writing songs, and I think that nowadays you need to have a record that you can totally stand behind. And I feel like you got some good stuff, but you don't have a full record yet. And I guess, like, to his credit, that was really honest of him to tell us that straight up like that. And I think he was right. Honestly, we sat down and we're like, wow.
And after a lot of talk and a lot of just kind of looking into ourselves and saying, are we really ready? Do we have what we need? We realized that, you know what, maybe we need to take more time to write, and maybe we need to take more time to make a record that would seem more important, more different, and more special sounding. So at that point, we said, screw it, we're not going to go in the studio.
Our goal is not to just make a record to make a record and go back out and tour. Our goal was to really, I think that this album, like being album number 3, like it's a huge step for a band, and it's kind of like, you know, like we did really well on the first 2 albums, and they sold well, and we had lots of fans and lots of shows, but it kind of felt like we want more than that. Like, we want to keep going, not just stay where we were, like, you know, kind of evolve and make a bigger impact and still be relevant. So I guess we just look at what we had and, like, you know what, we have to work harder. We have to sort of come up with something fresh and new. And honestly, like, I don't think we really knew what that was.
I guess, you know, we didn't want to do a record super quick either to, you know, to not like it as much as we're going to like this one, you know. So
So this is where we've been working at. This is Chuck's little apartment.
Yeah, that's my pad.
Laundry room's over here.
I don't have a key.
Number 32, you know what that means? Nothing.
Nothing at all. It's just.
You don't have the key?
No, I don't. Pierre has my key. See, that's how tight we are. I gave him a key.
Come on in.
We watch too much Cribs. And this is where all the magic happens.
The writing was happening here, but now my guitars are gone because now they're at a pre-production studio. But we've been writing here, got a set of speakers, a computer, Pro Tools rig, and
a keyboard.
Yeah, enough to have a good
little microphone right there. It's pretty simple, very basic, but it's very powerful unit.
Yeah.
And
it's amazing what you can accomplish with just this. You can make pretty much an album. I mean, it won't sound as good as our final product, but it's still pretty rad.
a fight, Pierre.
Chuck worked out for the last year and a half, like nonstop, 4 days a week, 5 days a week. Yet, I would still put my money on Pierre if I'd see the two of them fight.
I think Pierre would win in the fight between Chuck and Pierre.
Come on, there's no way anybody actually said Chuck.
I usually win.
He has a good technique. Pierre is a good fighter. I think he had 2 older brothers, so he definitely, you know, I have to admit that most of the time that we fight, he beats me.
I always win, and I always will. I don't care how many weights he lifts.
I know that one day I'll get him.
Still gonna beat him.
Je suis complètement d'accord avec toi. Moi, j'ai pas de technique. Écoute, mon neveu de 15 ans, il me bat.
Chuck's been working out for the last 6 months.
Can we take bets on that one? Wait a second. Can we take bets?
Absolutely.
I want to bet on Pierre. Who wants to bet on Chuck?
Why do you want to bet on me? You said
I think you're stronger. I think he's got more technique than you do.
Money
on Pierre.
Okay, hold on.
money
on
$10. All right. Yo, listen. 1 is go. So 3, 2, 1.
My finger's stopping.
Ow!
Bring the money. No, it's cool.
Come on, so.
Bragging rights.
So a lot of songs were brought in, and a lot of songs didn't make the record. A lot of songs changed through the process, and that took like a year and a half. And I think it was for the better. Like, it was definitely necessary to explore new avenues.
Started looking into co-writing with people and doing some producing stuff, and we knew that we needed to refresh the sound. So we, you know, at the time there was the Justin Timberlake that was doing really well, and Nelly Furtado, and all those songs were really fresh and really good. And even though they were just really good songs, they had this new kind of sound to it that would give it an extra little spin. So we tried looking into that, went to our label and said, okay, who do we know that we can kind of get involved with and working with, like, the whole Timberland thing and what's going on with that. So there's a guy at our label that told us that this guy Danger, who was like this Timberland's protege, was trying to break away from working with Tim and all that stuff and trying to do his own thing, and was looking into working with actual bands. And when they asked him what he wanted to do, he actually said he was looking for bands like us to work with, and he actually had heard of us and knew we were recording our new record and was actually inquiring if we wanted to work with him.
We knew that we wanted to change, but we didn't know how. And that was the tricky part, you know, just finding that new element that would not necessarily destroy what we had before. And working with Danger was like definitely something really helpful for that, because he brought in like some sounds, some loops, some new ideas, some new ways of doing things that were not too intrusive on the sound that we had. So it was very interesting to blend in his kind of production ideas with the songs that were already there, and also taking his ideas and like going further and pushing it.
So the way that it worked with him, which changed it up really, is that he would just sit there and write a beat or a groove or whatever you want to call it. He just gets there, puts his headphones on, and like starts with a beat, writes a piece on it, and then what we would do is that we'd listen to everything he'd be doing, and then when we liked them, he'd be like, hey, dude, that's good, that's good. Okay, let me grab my guitar. Start writing in that, and we'd kind of build a song that would start from what we'll call a groove. And that's when we write the melodies and write the lyrics on that and go from different stuff and go for choruses and whatever we could come up with. Second verse, it goes like... It's kind of cool to put something like a little, like a kind of chimey or...
He threw us in a different writing space. Like, we're used to sort of coming up with stuff on guitar or vocally, like in terms of melodies or whatever. And with him, it was like he would work on something like a beat or a loop or sounds or whatever, and we would write a song around that. And we never really did that before, and everything sounded so fresh and exciting again.
We're writing some songs with Danja, Nate. I call him Nate now because we're like, you know, we're good friends, but to you, he's Danja. And so I just came here trying to think of a cool idea for a chorus for the song we're working on. So I'm just kind of, you know, jamming. He's working on some beats, and Pierre was here 2 seconds ago. So we're just trying to combine our ideas and come up with the best chorus. So what do you think? You think we should go more like, I don't know, maybe more like a build up, like a... I don't know what I'm doing.
Sebastian would be an engineer of some sort.
Would be working on cartoons,
They were something nerdy. They could be like, they'd have like a nerdy job.
like graphics or